the Podfix Network.
Hello and welcome to episode 289 of the Filmmakers Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk filmmaking, from indie film to studio films and everything in between. How to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to F it up. In our very, very humble opinion, I'm Giles Alderson. I'm a writer, director and a producer, and I'm delighted that we have on today the cinematographer, Johanna Coelho. She is an absolute delight. Myself and fellow DP, not that I'm a DP, but fellow DP like Johanna is, Andrew Roger joined us for this chat. And as you know, Andrew Roger is the DOP of The Dare, Arthur and Merlin, Confession, Plebs, and he's an all-round great guy. So him chatting to Johanna was an absolute no-brainer. She, if you don't know, is the cinematographer of season 4, which has recently been released, of ABC's The Rookie. And she brought her creative, unique approach to those episodes, and it's very impressive. Throughout her career, she has made documentaries, films, shorts, all sorts of work to get her to where she is now, including Oxygen Network's Killer Siblings and the films This Changes Everything and There Was Eve, which won the Jury Award at the LA Film Festival. She's worked with huge companies like ABC, Mar Vista, Ricky Schroeder Productions, Experian, Hawaiian Tropics, and she consistently sets herself apart from the industry. Myself and Andrew had a brilliant chat with her, describing what it's like and how many days prep you get on a TV series like The Rookie, how many shoot days you get. She also talks about lookbooks, emotions in scenes, handling a set, and why you need to be honest if you don't know something. She talks about management and politics on set, dealing with it, the importance of saying you're a DP, not crew member, what LUTs she likes to use, what lenses and what cameras. It's a bit of a geek fest, and I love that, and you're going to love it. We dive deep into all sorts on this episode: mental health, what it's like being a filmmaker, and how difficult it can be sometimes. So wherever you are in your career, you are gonna really enjoy this episode. The Rookie is available now on ABC. I highly recommend it. It's one of those shows you can just immerse yourself in and fall into, and I think Johanna's work is exemplary, and you will see that when you watch as well. I had an amazing chat yesterday with the studio head of New Biana Film Studios. He works for Millennium Films. He's produced some huge blockbuster movies like Hellboy, like Angel Has Fallen, The Dare. What? Did you just put The Dare next to those amazing films? You did, you idiot. But he did. He was the exec producer on The Dare. And it's amazing to listen to him talk, 5 years later, about why he picked up The Dare and why he wanted to work with me. That is to come for you on a future episode. And tomorrow, I'm doing a podcast recording with Craig Roberts. Yeah, right, that's right. The fantastic actor from Submarine and so many other films, but is also the director of Phantom of the Open. So 2 amazing episodes for you to look forward to. And shout out for Yarev's new company. It's called Film Forge. I said I would do this for him because in a week's time, he has his new courses available for you filmmakers at Film Forge in New Biana Studios in Bulgaria. And I tell you what, these studios are incredible. Johnny Grant, who was there, Julian Kostov, Andy Roger, when we walked round, we all literally went, oh my God, it's a movie studio. And you can go there and learn how to make films. And at the end of it, you get to make a short film. The course is August the 15th to August the 19th. That's literally, it's less than a week away now. They're doing a makeup course where you learn how to be a makeup artist in the movie industry, professional hygiene, skin science, all that kind of stuff, textures, makeup coatings, and there's also a grip course where you learn the bones of the industry, the grip department, rigging behind the scenes, what really goes into camera rigs, how do you stabilize camera movement, how do you achieve specific camera angles and lighting rigs to achieve specific lighting techniques and effects, and also a wardrobe course as well. So this is from script to set. how to break down the script, how to choose costumes, analysing colours, how to reflect on a character, practical tips for set, things like that, and how you take care of costumes and the cast. Oh, and how a camera lens defines the shot. So you want to know more about that, link to this is in the show notes. It's filmforge.org. It's not a necessarily cheap course, right? I mean, for considering film school, it's very, very cheap. But the amount you learn, I would say this is totally worth it. Film Forge, link to that is in the show notes. It is August 15th to August the 19th. You want that? And I do suggest you do. They're going to have some other courses soon as well, and we'll shout those out for you. Oh, and shout out to Q Scripts as well. They're collaborators. They're wonderful people, and they help screenwriters. They're a script analysis service, so they provide detailed, constructive and professional reports on your shorts, features or TV scripts. I love them, such wonderful people. So if you've got a script that's been developed and you need to hear it off the page, yeah, Q-Script's going to arrange a read through. 3-month membership is free for a limited time, and the annual membership is only £60 a year anyway, and you get so much with that. More info, like I say, is in the middle of this week's ep, but check out the link in the show notes, Q-Scripts. And we have, and I'm sure you're dying to know this news, but we have delivered 3-Day Millionaire to our UK distributors. It's never easy doing that. It's never easy to deliver a feature film. There's so many little things that can go wrong, that go into it, and not everything's delivered. There's a lot delivered, but there's still little bits and pieces, contracts, tiny little things that need to be tidied up. There's so much goes into that. We're going to do an episode on delivering movies and on it, contracts coming up very soon. But congratulations to Jack Spring, congratulations to Lucinda Rhodes-Thakrar, myself, and all the team involved, because wow, Artius up in Scotland, you're legends. Thank you for delivering what you did. Jason Peacock, sound designer extraordinaire, thank you for your work on this, and it's ongoing, I know. I appreciate you a lot. So yeah, that's enough for now. Let's get to it. This is this week's episode with myself, Andrew Roger, and the fantastic cinematographer / DOP, Johanna Coelho. Enjoy. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Nice to meet you.
Same, yes.
So listen, look, thank you so much for joining us. This is really cool. With something like The Rookie, do you get all the scripts in one go? Because obviously when you come on board, you know, you're coming onto it when it's already they're already shooting stuff, so it's quite well in advance. When you get something like that, do you get all the scripts in one go to catch up? How do they do it on a show like that?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Actually, we got the scripts pretty late in general, because I think, you know, the seasons are so back to back that they don't really have time to get ahead on the scripts. Mm-hmm. I was not part of season 3, but on season 3, I heard that they kept pushing the beginning of the shoot because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So they had time to write the script. So they had all the script before shooting, right?
Oh, luxuries.
But then when we started season 3, that was nice for them.
Yes, exactly.
when we shot season 4, actually, they just, you know, they didn't have time to like have all the scripts before. So what happens in general is we have 7 days of prep, and then we shoot for 9 days. And often we would not have the script on the first day of prep. And sometimes it happened that it was more than 1 day late, you know, sometimes it was 2-3 days after. So yeah, you know, you get a log line mm-hmm. in that case, yep. You know, and you still start looking for locations and some scenes, but you know, you walk around it, and then you end up having the real script. Yeah.
You make it work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you kind of imagine what the script might be, and
by the locations you're at. There's probably some drama over here. The police will arrive here. Rookie will come in over there. Someone might get killed. That's it. I'll light it this way. Done.
You get better and better at it through the seasons after shooting episodes.
Wow. Yeah, I could imagine. You said there that it was 7 days prep and then 9 days shoot. 9 days.
That's correct, yeah. Yeah, it depends on the episode. Some episodes actually were shorter. Sometimes there were 7 days because there would be special episodes that, you know, that didn't require 9 days of shooting. And sometimes we had even episodes that were 12 days, that has happened as well. So because they were very heavy on action or effects so it really, really depended of the episode, but the base was always 9 days.
Now, how many pages were you getting through a day, roughly?
It depends. I would say when we had action, like heavy actions, we were trying to stay on the 5, but a lot of time we had 9 pages for dialogue and stuff like this. Yeah.
Wow. This is proper. I didn't think it would be like that. I thought because like indie films, you do 9 pages a day is you can do it, but it's quite tough. I'm quite amazed by that you shoot it in 9 days each episode, or something like The Rookie. That surprises me actually.
Yeah. I think that they don't have the choice with the diffusion dates. I think it just has to keep going basically. But the way we do it is then we do 3 cameras at the same time because there's so much coverage to get, you're right, that we have permanently 3 cameras with us. And for some action scenes or stuff like that, sometimes we get the 4th camera before, that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only way you really go through it. And the scripts were often around 60 pages.
I see.
For a 42 minutes episode. So you do have a lot to shoot and then some things get cut. But yeah, that's often what happens.
Got you. How do you prep for 3, maybe even 4 cameras? So let's say you're shooting a scene like the 3 of us, we're in a room and it's maybe dialogue heavy and maybe someone comes in at some point. How do you prep to shoot that for 3 cameras? Would you light the whole room and then work out where the cameras go? Would you wait for the blocking? Talk us through that process.
In general, when we start a scene and we have to place our 3 cameras, we would think about the A cam in general and just, what do we want our master or more wide shot, and then once we found that, then what can we do with B and C? And in general, what we would do with B cam is we would start to get into the coverage a little bit, which is hard for sound. So we always, try to compromise with sound that we're not too wide and too tight.
Exactly. Sound guys going, really?
They don't like us. And there was many times, where we just don't have the choice because you have a certain amount of time to shoot that scene and there's this many characters and, this many shots to get. And so we have sometimes to get wide and tight at the same time. So what we would do for sound is that do 1 take where the wide A cam, we just put it down for 1 take and they can get in, for B and C. But yeah, B cam is often playing next to A as coverage, more tighter shots. And then C cam, we would often do, it depends on the situation, but C cam, we would often place it as a more profile shot, or like 3/4 or raking shots. And that's how we've been placing C, or something that there's a big insert moment or a detail that needs to be done in the scene. And that's what C cam will get. It's often the more artistic shots that happen with C cam.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah. How do you find lighting for 3 or 4 cameras as compared to 1?
It's hard. It's actually really hard. I found a system for me that works in the way you don't want to compromise, right? It has to look good on the 3 cameras. I think you need to do a small compromise in the way that there's 2 cameras that are going to look a little better than the 3rd one. They're just when you have a 180 like this, that's just going to happen. I'm trying to stay under 180 with my cameras and maybe more 90. So lighting stays really nice, but yeah, you just have to find a system that it still looks good on all angles, but also understand that there's 1 or 2 angles that are going to look a little better than the other one. And that's just you're the only one who's going to notice it. Honestly,
That's true. Yeah.
I think the audience doesn't see it too much. But yeah.
Don't tell anyone that's a secret.
How do you put your artistic touch on something like that, like you just described there? You know what I mean? You want to put your cinematic look on that. And I know with The Rookie or a show like that, you've kind of got to follow the format a little bit. But obviously you want to bring your touch to it or an emotion to the scene through the lighting or through the cameras. How do you go about trying to put something like that in, especially by the sounds of it, if you have no time as well? I imagine your team are amazing. You've prepped, and especially in a room, it's like, yeah, no problem. Well, we can get all that lighting set up for you. But it'd be really interesting to know how you managed to put your magic touch on it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The crew is absolutely amazing and they work so fast. And obviously we have a rigging crew for grippy and electric. So everything can kind of be more or less ready when we arrive on set.
Great. Oh, the luxuries.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have the choice. Otherwise you would never have time to light. That's the problem.
Right.
Yeah. So what I do in prep, is it's going to sound very indie film, but I do lookbooks. Believe it or not, for some scenes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, me too.
Because there's specific scenes within an episode that, are more moody or more dramatic or more romantic. And this is where you want to kind of step up the look a little bit. So there's a bit more emotions to that moment. So in prep, often I would find the right visual references and talk with the director and make sure we're all on the same page. And then when we would take scout, I would really talk to the rigging gaffer and the rigging key grip and make sure that we can get this atmosphere nailed down when we arrive on set. And then it's all about lighting the face and adding some things in the background and all that, right? So I think really for the touch I could do is really the vision I had when I read the script for these scenes and pre-planning what I want them to look like. Because on set, it goes so fast, you don't have time to overthink things, it needs to be ready. And then, we go in and then hopefully, the look is there and it's all about angles and foreground. If you want to add more emotions, is that a scene that you want to be wider and closer? Or is that a scene you want to be longer length and behind objects? All of these things change the feeling of it. And I think that's kind of something we try as much as we can to decide in the 7 days of prep. But sometimes it's on set as well. Yeah.
Right. I love that. Obviously, you've got your 7 days of prep with the team, but I take it you're doing your own prep as well as that. So you did 3 or 4 episodes on the latest season of The Rookie. Is that right?
11.
You did 11 episodes?
Yeah. So there's 22 episodes on this last season. And so I did all the evens and there was another DP for all the odds episodes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of the things I was going to ask you. I'm going to talk about myself for a second.
Please do.
But so I've just obviously just got here. There's been 2 blocks already shot. So there's been 4 episodes already shot, and I've got the next 2 blocks to go. And for me, I come in. There was a conversation about how much am I sticking to the previous look, and how much am I putting my own sensibilities into it. How do you work out? How closely to stick to the previous look of the show? Yeah,
well, there was a huge discussion and collaboration with the other DP, because we were both new DPs for this new season. So, it was the first DP hired, I was the second DP hired. And so we really talked together of what we wanted to change about the show.
Okay.
Because I was already working a little bit on season 2. I was a double up DP back then. So they only had one main DP and I was doing all the double ups. And he was part a little bit of season 3. He was doing some second unit and other things. So we both knew the show. We both worked on it at different seasons. And we knew where it was at and what we wanted to change. So that's something we really decided to talk about and change on set, on all the sets in Warner Bros. The lighting, how do we want to adjust, what do we want it to look like? And that's something we talked with the showrunner as well, obviously, to make sure that's the direction he was happy to head in. You can't change the show too much because it's already established for 3 seasons, right? And you have an audience that's been following it. So, but you can make it a little more cinematic and a little more, emphasize on emotions like we were talking about, right? So that's the little things, and sometimes first it was working with a DIT to have a little bit more cinematic, a bit more blue in the shadows and stuff like that, right? Or, more colors in our lighting by night. So more sodium vapor in the police station and then, and more contrast on colors, right? So little things like this that don't affect too much what has been established in the show, but elevate the show a little more. And then shot-wise as well, obviously. We try to do more long lens, shooting through foreground and things like that make it a bit more interesting, I would say. Yeah.
What are the things that you sort of kind of explained it, but what are the things that excite you about an image? What are the things that you bring to an image that's different from perhaps what's gone in the season beforehand?
I think, it's hard on a show like this to really answer this question because in a way we all put our little touch, but it's all one big thing at the
big
end,
collaboration.
right? So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do my own thing that it doesn't match with the next episode or anything like that. But I would say the other DP and me, we really focused on maybe being closer to the story, you know, and just more what was happening with the characters and feeling more like the beats. If it's more comedy, we go more comedy. And if it's more dramatic, we go more dramatic in the way we shoot it, you know? And yeah, I would say this is the little thing that we would try to care as much as we can in the time we have, but we treat it as like our baby every single episode. You know what I mean? And I think that's how you can really elevate the look as much as you can for the story. Yeah.
So you've got 7 days prep and then 9 days shoot. Do you then go straight into another 7 days prep, 9 days shoot? Then again, 7 days prep, 9 days shoot. How does it work on a show like this? Because you did 11 out of the 22 episodes, as did your fellow DP who was doing the other 11 out of 22. Was it a constant moving wheel?
We started shooting, we started the season, so June, I think it was late June 2021. And we did 2 weeks of prep for changing the stages. You know, it was like a general prep, like a soft prep, like talking about what we wanted to head in, etc. And then he was the first DP shooting. So then he went into 7 days of prep for his episode. And me, I basically, when he started shooting, then I went into my 7 days prep for my episode, etc. So when we start June 2021, it doesn't stop until April 18th. That's what you have to.
Wow.
So basically, there's no, you finish a day shooting, the next day you're in prep.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Yeah.
So when I was falling on when I had a day sometimes that was kind of off just because I had a 7 days episode and he had a 10 days episode. So then sometimes there was 1 day whole. I was like, yeah, weekend time.
1 day. Oh, you probably just slept.
Oh yeah. I mean, everyone gets really tired, but that's why everyone was really amazing because we go in 10 months, it's a 10-month show and everyone, is just at 100% the whole time. And we're so lucky on a show like that to have really an amazing crew, but executives as well and showrunners. Everyone was so nice and the cast was absolutely delightful, not annoying, not like divas or anything like that. And it's a lot of people. And so we're very lucky on a show like this because then you're happy to come to set and you enjoy each other's and you have to on a 10-month show. Otherwise it's unbearable. But
yes, supporting each other as well through those moments when someone is tired or grumpy or it's like, do you know what? Someone will pull them up. I love that. What's the difference between that in your mind? The on and off stage, it's sort of 9 days of full on and then 7 days of prep. 9 days, even though prep is still full on, you can at least breathe. The difference between that and then when you made the feature film and then there was Eve, where it's prep, film, finish. For you, what do you prefer the TV show where you can? It's like you're starting a little mini feature film again each time, isn't it? All right, it's obviously it's not. It's a TV show. What's the difference for you there between the two?
It's funny because when you were saying that I get to relax a bit more in prep, I would say actually my prep was more intense than my shoot on the rookie.
Really? Okay.
I think I did more hours in prep than I was doing shooting.
Why is that?
We were very good at staying on the 12 on the set, and we did between 10 and 12, I would say. And on prep, it's just, you don't have a lot of time to prep a lot of things. So you just
7 days.
You have meetings on meetings on meetings every day and you do location scouts all over LA, everywhere, right? And then you have the tech scout with everyone. And sometimes you have something in Malibu and then Long Beach and then, Pomona, and so it's, so you just don't have time. So you on prep is basically kind of when you go home and you have a moment alone, right? Because between all of this, you don't really have time to sit down and do your prep. That's why I feel like my prep was more heavy than the shoot for me sometimes. But yeah, the difference with a feature film, I would say, is that I think the fact, it's not 10 months and yes, on a feature film, and then it was Eve, I think we had 2 weeks of prep and 3 weeks of shoot and it's a small amount of time and you have so much adrenaline during that time, that you don't feel it the same way, I guess, because it's shorter. And I had the same adrenaline on the rookie, but because it's such on a long period of time that you can't keep the adrenaline the whole way. It's impossible. You would crash. So,
Yeah.
So you can give I don't know how to express it, but basically it doesn't feel as long and heavy on a feature because it's a shorter time and you know that. The feature would be months, it would be a very different experience as well, I think, you know.
Yes. For those people who do the huge big movies and they're on them for 9 months, it must get very draining. It must be really like relentless slog. Those people on Lord of the Rings, God knows how they felt doing 3 years, even longer sometimes on it. But then you with this wonderful family and, you know, you find your tribe within that family and you have an amazing time. Speaking of tribes, do you get to pick your crew on something like The Rookie, or are people already in place already?
So some people were already in place that were here the previous seasons, and it just makes sense to keep them, you know. And then with the other DP, we kind of share a little bit the crew. So he brought some people on, and I brought some people on, and so we had a little bit of, you know, us because we share the crew, right? So
so were they constant then? So they didn't get the 7 days prep on the next one. They were just shooting.
That's correct. Yeah. So he brought A and B cam and I brought C cam, for example, right? So I brought the camera operator for C cam and the 2 assistant camera for C cam, and he brought all these people for A and B. And that's how we share basically. So it's nice kind of to see, you know, we all, you know, when we alternate, some people are from me, some people are from him, but we share the crew. So it was kind of amazing because then I got to know his crew and he got to know my crew, you know, and then it's just one big family. And the funny thing is that the crew was always saying they were always happy that he would switch DP because they always get annoyed with one and then they're happy to see the other one. And then they get annoyed with that one and then they're happy to see the other one.
Back again. You get 9 days respite, isn't it? Right? Oh, thank God that one's gone for a bit. Oh, we got this new, thank God they're gone. Yeah, no, I'm sure it was still lovely. You see, the way you talk about it and the way you smile when you talk about it is only really positive. It means that, you know, you had a great time and your crew obviously did too. You know, and also I think with TV, you are in the parameters of that world. Like you say, it's very unlikely to go over. It's very, you know, everything is done by the book, if you like. This is how we're making this show. And as long as everyone's on board and working as hard as they can and making it right, then yeah, you're creating something, and that must feel great, right? How do you go from, you know, indie films and coming in on TV shows as a DP on maybe just the odd episode here and there to, you know, making 11 out of 22 on a season on The Rookie? How did you get that? How did that happen?
You know, it's funny. I think, you know, there must be a part of luck in all of this when you think about it. I mean, I worked really hard and, you know, I busted my ass in the indie film and to get there. But one day I just got an interview. So I had just turned union the month before, actually, as a DP, which was a really fast turnaround for me. And I got all my hours, and it was big process to get that done with contract services and all of that. But that happened, and I turned union, and the next month I got an interview to be a double up DP on season 2 of The Rookie.
A what DP, sorry?
Sorry, so double up is basically we overlap episodes. That's something actually I didn't say yet. But
right, okay.
So the first day of an episode is also the last day of one. So sometimes, so the other DP and me, we would overlap episodes sometimes for one day all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
So on season 2, there was only one main DP. And so they would only bring another DP on the day that overlaps. So that's why you call it double up DP. So that's what I did on season 2. I did all the day overlapping and the second units, basically. So when I got the interview, I think I know they were just interviewing women DPs, to be honest. That's something. And so I think we were 7 or 8. I don't know exactly, but, the interview went pretty well. And I think they called me the next day and they were like, can you come tomorrow? I got very overwhelmed because just when I went to do the interview on set, they were on location and I saw all these trucks and this gigantic catering. And I was like, I don't think I'm in the right place. I got a bit scared, to be honest. I got a bit scared. And then when I got the call, I was like, I don't know if I should take it because I think they're going to make fun of me, you know?
No. Was that what you thought?
Well, I had no idea to handle a set like this. I've always been operating myself, you know, more on indie project. And suddenly you have 3 cameras, you know, huge locations and, you know, rigging crews. And like, I hadn't done that before. And you only know how to do it when you do it. You know, it's just not over learning, right?
Yeah.
So that was, you know, my first time for me. And, you know, luckily I ended up saying yes. And I was shadowing the main DP for a day. And then the next Monday I was on, and it went well.
Well, it did go well, obviously. But how did you get over that fear, which is frightening for so many people, and it puts people off making films in the first place? Everyone talks, I'm going to make a film one day, or I'm going to do this one day. And that fear is so big and so frightening. How did you overcome that? And what did you do on those days to feel like you could say where you wanted the lights to be, or where the riggers are going to put stuff? How did you overcome it?
Yeah. Well, first, I definitely didn't sleep the 2 nights before it. So I was already tired.
Which doesn't help.
Too stressed out.
Yeah.
But I have a policy in me. And I hate when people lie about something or pretend they know something that they don't. I think for me, it's the worst thing you can do. The best thing you can do is just to be honest and say, I don't know this. Nice. I don't know that. Tell me what it is, right? So obviously when I arrive on a set like this, there's things and tools that I didn't know yet, as a DP. And I always ask questions and I'm like, I haven't used that before. What is it for? And if you just go straight forward, people won't judge you. They'll actually be happy to answer you and to teach you something, believe it or not.
Yes.
So, and I think I really try to not take too much space as well at the beginning, in the way I was coming in kind of as a guest DP just to make a set function. But the crew, they know what they're doing. They've done that for weeks, months, So I'm just coming here to manage, basically. So I would be really like, okay, well, I think we should do it like this. How do you do it normally? I was checking, how does it work, on the show, etc. So making sure we're respecting the thing. And then I would just add things that I feel with my eyes that were not right and switch it and all of this. And that's I got more and more confident to give more notes and change a few things. And that's how I started to do it. But working with the director, she had a precise shot list. So we went with her shot list because she was already shooting her episode, I didn't have any prep. So it's more it's a lot of management. And it's all about keeping you cool, and you repeating if people didn't understand, but always being calm. And I don't know. I think I didn't realize being a DP would be so much management, honestly, but it's definitely.
I was going to ask you about that because that's one thing I've noticed, that the bigger projects, suddenly you're doing way more management than you are art or operating cameras, or it becomes way more about managing a team. How did you find that transition?
I mean, I think I didn't know I especially had it in me, I guess. But again, it's one of these situations, until you do it, you don't know, right? So luckily, I love people and I love being around people. And it's basically making sure things are moving, and that people are communicating and that if something is not right, that you fix it and you make sure you're the one stepping in to fix it, because that's you, the head of the department, and anything going inside the department is your responsibility. So you always say, no, I asked them to do that, or I wanted that. So if you have an issue, you come talk to me. And that's also I handle with the producers, etc. I think it's something that people should know when they get into this job, that it's not only it is definitely 50% of having good eyes and knowing what you want, but it's 50% of management and politics. And I don't think I did the American Film Institute and I was not taught that at all.
Wow.
So I think, this is where, by watching it or being put in the situation, you understand and realize how much management you have to do. And I agree with you, Andrew. I felt like on The Rookie, that's mostly what I did. On this season 4, it was a lot of management. Mostly.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can relate. Yeah.
But it's part of the thing. Yeah.
I guess it's part of it.
Ooh, what's that? It's music. In the middle of the podcast? It can only mean one thing. It's sponsorship time. We are delighted to be sponsored by Q Scripts. It's a script analysis service. Annual membership package costs only £60 a year. It includes monthly webinar and Q&A sessions with industry professionals, including commissioned writers, producers and directors. You get a discount on all services offered by Q Scripts and access to a 36-page quarterly industry magazine brimming with useful content, industry insights and interviews with writers, plus free entry into the monthly prize draw with the chance to win a free detailed script report. Check out qscripts.com. Link for ease. To make it easier for you so don't have to type it in is in the show notes. Just scroll down, click on it. There it is. qscripts.com.
How do you pick your crews? What do you look for in your focus pullers and operators?
I think I try to pick people that are really creative, actually, because for me the best ideas, they come from talking and discussing. I don't feel like the best ideas always come from me at all. Like, I think it's like someone suggests something, I'm like, that's a great idea, let's do it. I like people that also like, okay, I love people that have great ideas, and it's also a balance of not too many cooks in the kitchen, right? That's very important, because it can get very overwhelming on set as well. So it's these people that have great ideas, and often I would go to them and I would be like, what do you think? Do you have an idea for here? And then they would say yes, or if they feel there's like a moment of pause and no one has an idea and that's something, that needs to happen, they'll come to me and they'll be like, what about we do this? And then I'm like, she just had a great idea. Let's do what she said, And like, giving credit is very important, because it shows that people are participating and that they're excited about the project as well. So I think it's like, the crew also needs to be very respectful. I had issues, and maybe as a woman DP, on set with some people we had to let go because they just couldn't handle the fact that it was a woman. So I got in that situation a few times.
How did you handle those? It sounds like you handled it well, but how? Because there's nothing worse, there's no place for it in filmmaking these days. And it's great that, they weren't on set anymore. How did you handle it at the time? Because it can be daunting, it can be difficult to approach. It can be difficult to stand up to things like that, especially if you're mild-mannered and you're not a shouter. It can be difficult. No one wants a shouter anyway, but it can be difficult. What was your process there? How did you handle it?
It's situations by situations, I would say. I'll tell you what, like when there's an issue happening and it feels awful in general, but the first thing I do is I try to handle it myself. So I go to talk to the person. I take them on the side, like, so it's personal, and I'm just saying, what is happening? Like, why are you acting like this? Is there something wrong? Is there something, that you don't like my behavior? And I try to talk it out. And I mean, I don't want to go too much in detail for some things, but like in a project I did recently, like I had an issue with a camera operator, and he just couldn't listen to what I was trying to do as a DP. And there was many warnings, and I tried to handle it myself many times, and it was really, really hard on set. And, I had to go to the executive, and it had to be handled differently. And, then we got an amazing crew after that. But, it's just like, it's hard because you earn your spot here, and it goes well with everyone else. It's like, I don't think it's me, because it goes well with absolutely everyone else. It's a person that just decided that I don't deserve to be above them, and that becomes an issue on the respect and on, collaboration, just even collaboration. They refuse to collaborate, and they just want to do what they want, and that's it. And yeah, it's difficult, and it's really heartbreaking. And I had really, really tough situations on set with that. But
sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Don't I know it happens to a lot of people, and I have a lot of friends I talked about it with, and you just can't let it go. It's important that it's fixed, Either you talk to the person and you fix it together, and if it really comes to an end, it doesn't, you can't just let it go, because they'll keep doing it. And I can't work like this, personally.
No, absolutely right. Yeah. And well done for being brave and actually, going up to them, because a lot of people wouldn't, they'd hide. And it's great that you straight away went, hey, let's talk about this. There's obviously something going on here. Great. Because it's really important to do that as a leader, and as a cinematographer on set. You are a leader on set, as well as a director, as well as a producer, and you do have to lead from the front, and that's really important.
You don't have to answer this if you don't want. It's an observation I've noticed. I've noticed that maybe it's just a UK thing, but there's a willingness to give men the benefit of the doubt, and sort of, we've heard this person's a little sexist, but until they do anything, we're not going to do anything about it. But if anything happens, then we'll. Have you met that as an attitude?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not even stories that are mine, but stories that I know, that there's been many times things reported of, even like men DPs that don't behave correctly with their crew, and they're just let it go because they just don't want to replace him. And, you know, so yeah, I think they have too much benefit of the doubt sometimes. And hopefully this is changing, you know. I think sometimes, and again, like, I think things are going like in the good sense, in the way it gets better, right? But, I think women have less range to be annoying to people in the way, like, if a woman was doing something wrong, they replace her much faster.
Sure. I've seen it. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You know, like, we had to prove a little more and be more square.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the truth of it. Things are changing, which is amazing in the industry. It's a huge shift. The whole Me Too movement did change everything. The fact that people are wanting female DPs now, female directors, it's changing instantly. Female producers, you know, some projects won't happen unless they have these in place. That's brilliant. That's brilliant for our industry because it does get rid of those Neanderthals, I suppose, who, like you say, look down on women and said, I don't want to be talked to by a woman telling me what to do because they've been in the industry 60 years or whatever. It's ridiculous. It's so backwards and it does need changing. And like you said, a lot of the times it does. And the producers are stepping up now and saying, sorry, you've got to go. Can't talk like that to people. You can't behave like that. And that's fantastic.
But you know, the funny thing is that I got into a situation, you know, like where people are, you know, on you because they don't like the fact that you're a woman or something, and they've been women. Like, I had problem with women for being a woman. So it's not only the men, it's also like, it's women that have been in the industry for so long that they feel protected by the men. And if there's another woman coming collaborate with them, they get scared and they're like, she can do it. I've been there so long. It's always been men. Like, she can do it. You know what I mean? And I've seen it multiple times, and it has always been men. Believe me, yeah.
How do you choose what camera to use? Now, is this a discussion you have with the director and the team, or have you got preferred cameras you like and lenses? It'd be really interesting to talk a little bit about that side of stuff.
So I think there's always a part of budget first, depending on the project, right?
Okay.
Because there's some cameras you can or can't afford, so that's already off the list. But there's also the type of project it is. Like, if it's a documentary, you're going to want a very versatile camera with accessible buttons because you're going to be by yourself running around and, you know, and it's to be comfortable and light and all of that. If you shoot a movie that's like a short film or a feature that's in a small space in corners, you want a camera where you can back on the sink or against the wall, or so you need something very compact, right? If you have like, you know, heavy action with, you know, you need long zooms. You don't want a small body. You want something a bit more like, you know,
chunky,
basically. Yeah. So it can handle the lenses and like, so it really depends of what it is. Like, I know a lot of people actually buy their own equipment. And, first, I never wanted to because I've actually shot with just different cameras non-stop, and I don't think it would be beneficial for me. You know, I mean, I do shoot a lot with the Alexa Mini. And I know it's a popular camera. I like it a lot personally, but you know, right now I'm gonna do a feature film in Chicago starting next week, and I'm gonna shoot with the Komodo. And I actually haven't shot with it yet, but it's practical because first it fits with our budget, and then, you know, it's very compact, and we have small spaces and easy to even do cool shots just in your hands and move it around because it's light enough, and, you know, it's just stuff like that. So, and
just talk us a bit, the two of you, be really. We often don't talk about cameras enough on this show. Why you prefer like smaller camera, like on the Dare when we were doing in the small rooms, Andy, we often shot, you know, with the Mini just because we wanted that space so you can get right in the corners. And then Arthur and Merlin, we shot on Blackmagic because we were outside a lot, and we had to, again, in castles, and it was good for low light because we had no lights on Arthur and Merlin. It'd be good for you, I'd be really interested to talk about cameras a little bit, and you can name them and talk through, you know, lenses. I'd love it.
Can I ask go more specific? What kind of lenses do you like? There we go. There's a question. Do you like vintage lenses? Do you like modern ones? Or is it really about the project?
I think it really is about the project, but I do have a slight preference for vintage lenses.
Why? Why is that? Geek me out.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I love, you know, the art of focus on it first, you know, and the bokehs, but also like the colors and the texture on face. And I just, you know, there's something about it that just more cinematic. It's too sharp on other lenses, I feel like, you know, it's like, then you have to stack diffusions in. And
yes.
Do you think part of that comes from, you know, cinema being considered something from the 80s and 90s, like a film thing? Do you think, I think that's part of the look being older technology?
You know, it's funny because I'm not especially a 80s, 90s movies person. Like I actually like new movies, you know, but I feel like even with new movies, we still use nice vintage lenses, and it's just like,
scratch them up. Yeah.
It's like, for me, it's the mix of like the evolution of the technology and digital and all of that, and that nice old lens on it, you know, and it just gives you this impressive image, but it's still like, there's a texture to it. And it's like, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, you can tell sometimes it's like way too sharp everywhere. And for me, I don't even know where to look. You know, I mean, I don't know if that does that to you. And it doesn't, sometimes the lens also shape the light, you know, if there's a bit of vignette and all these things, like your eyes focus more where you want. And I don't know. I feel like I'm still discovering all the lenses. There's so many, right? But, I shot anamorphic, I think 3 times. And I haven't done long projects with anamorphics yet. And that's something that I want to get into because I didn't get a chance to really explore them as well. So yeah, shot so much vertical.
Similar, but I'd done commercials and things anamorphic, but I just did a film, all anamorphic, feature film. And yeah, they're weird and very different.
I love cameras and I love the feel of them, and I love watching DPs work with them. And whereas me as a director will talk to the DP is about what I would like. It's basically, look, this is my vision. We've obviously talked about it way before. And then I love that cinematographers will then put their vision onto that and go, okay, well, how about if I do this? How about if I do that? When picking cameras and lenses, then, like you say, it's per job and it's per what the feeling is. But let's say for some of the job, you want to be in a small space, but yet the other part of the filming, you want the long lens. How do you then manage to go, okay, well, now I need something in the middle, or I need 2? How do you plan for that? How do you make that work?
Well, I do think there's situations where you do get the camera that you mostly need for the shoot, and then you just have a day where you get the other camera for specific things if you need to, you know?
Right, okay.
If it's half and half, then you just need to find something that's good for both, you know, and that's, you know, I think the Alexa Mini is great for both, for example, you know, like this is why I work mostly with this camera. It's because I think it just does so many situations. But, you know, sometimes you don't have the budget for, if you need two cameras, like on the feature I'm going to do, like then we couldn't get 2 Alexa Minis for the price we have. So then you go with something else. And sometimes also, you know, there's limitation. I mean, they just came out with the Super 45 Alexa now, right? But, the 45, but I don't remember exactly, but I think, you know, I don't think it was doing true 4K. So sometimes if you need the true 4K, then that was an issue. You couldn't use the Alexa because if it was for Netflix, right? There was this stuff like that. And then if you need like a high frame rate, you know, in a certain resolution as well for a lot of scenes on your film, then there's cameras that are better than others for that. You know, there's limitation on every camera. So I think that's what you look at. But yeah. But I think the Alexa Mini is the middle range for everything for me. Yeah.
Have you worked with the Alexa Mini LF at all?
Not the LF, no, not yet.
What's the difference?
So so there's the Mini, which is the normal Super 35 chip, and then the LF is like 2 chips stuck together, so you get like a bigger image basically, which brings it over the 4K resolution, so you can actually shoot on Alexas for Netflix delivery and stuff like that. But as Johanna says, the camera can shoot 4K, but it can't do high frame rates. So if you want to do slow motion, like in my film where people fall out of airplanes and things, you then have to get the big one, which is a huge, heavy, like massive, heavy camera, just to do the slow motion bits. So it's always a blend of what's possible and yeah.
Yeah, and also the lens is right. I mean, you were mentioning the LF, but it's because it can do full frame. So then you can use full frame lenses. And so it depends, you know, I mean, I haven't worked so much with full frame lenses. I feel like I mostly use Super 45 lenses, but it's also a different type of lenses, and you can't really adapt one to the other with a full frame sensor. So it actually is getting very complicated, honestly. Yes. To me, like, I'm just looking at all these things coming out and I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm never going to be able to keep up.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you stay on top of it? Because there is always new stuff coming out and you've got to kind of know all this, or at least be aware of it. Whereas me as a director, I don't. I go, well, that looks pretty, or you tell me, you know. I'm obviously learning it and I love learning about them, but I'm not technical enough. But how do you
do that. How do you manage, the pair of you, to sort of go, the new cameras are out and there's this? Is it constantly reading up about them? Is it watching the videos about them and seeing if it worked for you?
Honestly, I'm not too much of a gear geek. So, and I should be more, to be honest. But it's just, you know.
No.
I'm not reading the magazines.
No, you don't have to be.
But in general, for me, it's like when I need something for a project, I look for it. And that's how I discover a lot about gear, or people talk to me about things. This is really like, you know, when we talk, did you see that coming out? And people teach me actually a lot of things coming out and stuff. But it's rare that I do it, except if I need it for something. You know, that's kind of how I function. This is why, like, when everything comes out at the same time, I'm like, okay, this is going to be too much to catch up on.
It's way too much. Yeah. It's almost like if you were to buy a camera, as soon as you buy it, it's like the new one's out already, or there's a problem with that one and they were testing it, you know, all these type of things. I remember when people were buying cameras. Now luckily we're in budget ranges where we can hire the cameras, which makes such a big difference, you know, than having to get DP with the latest camera or whatever to shoot stuff. I find all that really, it just must be really tough for you guys to be on top of all that.
If you go back to episode 1 of the Filmmakers podcast, you'll recall if you can find it, you'll recall that I was like, yeah, I'm completely the same, but cameras are boring, like bored by all of that technology. It's great and it's wonderful to have, but it's not really what filmmaking is about. It's not what makes us as artists like make good things. Cameras have been good enough for 50 years, you know, and there'll always be something new, and it means you can do a new thing, but really it's important to focus on image making and use the tools you have. But I think there's so much new kit coming out all the time, especially in like the more consumer kind of end, that you can get so tied up in it, whereas really it's about the craft, maybe. I don't know. I
love how you said that, honestly, because I think like DPs I hear so many DPs that are like, no, you can do this because this camera and these lenses. And, you know, I've seen horrible footage shot on the best equipment ever.
Oh, you see my show reel? Great.
I was going to say it.
I got in there before you, Charles. Sorry, Jonah, carry on, please.
And I've seen like the best footage shot on a Canon 5D Mark III on a guy reel. Right. And I was like, what did you shoot? And he was like, my Mark III, like baked-in lot. And, you know, so I'm just saying it's just about how you use the equipment. And people get lost, you're right. And they get lost in the technology too much. And, and, you know, I'm sure the technology helps what you vision. And people go reverse. They're like, I want to use these tools and I want to use this camera. And then they force it on the project and whenever they might not even need that, you know, they are tools.
Yeah, they're tools. They're there to help you go, well, actually it'd be better to shoot on this because we're doing da-da-da. But actually once you're there, you could probably shoot on the iPhone. I'm not saying you would, but you could because
you should,
you've got the vision, you've got the eye to go, okay, well, it's all about composition here. I can still light it. I can still put, you know, director can put his actors where they want and I can then tweak, right? It's about the vision, and for you guys, I suppose, and that's where you must come alive, and the challenges and the magic. If you walked into a set that was already lit for you, like, oh, right, okay, well.
No, that would be very nice. I'll take that.
That's an extra. I'll go to Crafty for one.
I'll go to Crafty.
Yeah, I did that.
Cheers, guys.
I'll take credit for that.
I did
no
it.
problem.
Yeah, all mates on the show reel. It's going to be on Andy's new show reel.
I'm actually curious, Andy, if you use filters, because that's something I couldn't do that on the show because they don't like anything baked in, right? But I use a lot on indie project, like filters in camera for colors and stuff.
I do. What kind of filters do you like?
I mean, it depends how crazy I can get, you know, but sometimes I go like, I just stack them up together and I do like antique suede and then with tobacco and like, you know, I don't know. Like,
proper stuff. No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sometimes I like to do that. Yeah, but
I got really into Hollywood Blackmagic filters.
Yeah. I loved it. That's the one we use on the Rookie, yeah.
I mean, they're like most expensive, but they're great. But they're like, I think they're a combination of, I forget, but like they're two different filters together, aren't they?
Isn't that like the Black Promise? Because that's actually, I normally use the Black Promise on my films. The Hollywood Blackmagics just look better on our lenses for the Rookie. But you're right, I think it's that and it's Glimmer. No, it's not Glimmer.
It's something, it's like a Glimmer glass, isn't it? It's like two different filters together or something, low con or something. Yeah, I got really into those. And it's what you're saying earlier. It's, you know, modern cameras are so sharp You don't necessarily want all that detail, and having something that just kind of smooths it all out. But I got into making my own diffusion filters as well. I don't know if you got into that.
How are you making them?
It's really easy. So I shot a film called Confession a couple of years ago, and I couldn't quite get the diffusion I wanted. But I learned that if you get like a clear UV filter, like just a screw-in one, or even like a 4x4 square optical flat, and you get a spray can of just black paint, you kind of like mist it in the air and then wave the filter through it. You end up with like little dots on it, which is what a diffusion filter is. And you can like play with it and get different things. And so I've got this diffusion on that film. And when I'd finished shooting it, I smashed the filter so no one else could use it again. So like that film, it's mine.
The end of Titanic when she dropped the necklace into the
just
water.
Like that. Or like when Hendrix burnt his guitar, but obviously
exactly like that.
Much less conceptual.
Should take your mic and just drop it.
Yes, yeah, like way less conceptual. Yeah, it's just as important. Diffusion is my current like big flex. But it's interesting. There was a whole thing a few years ago of people stopped using diffusion because the idea was you could do it all in post. But actually, I think the more you can do in camera, the better image you get. How do you feel about that? How much do you save for the DI, and how much do you like to get done on set?
I mean, again, it depends of the projects. Because like a TV show like The Rookie, they won't let you bake things in camera too much, which I totally understand. You know, there's like so many people checking the colors after. But what happens in general, if you don't use what you need in camera, so many times there's actually no time for colors. So what happens is that you never get to the look you wanted on set. Like, I try to do that for short films or things where there's no turnaround or something. And they're probably not going to have a color session, or it's not going to be colorist or something. So I'm just trying to make as much as I can in camera, you know, so it's there and the look is respected, you know, but, you know, I appreciate when I am more chill on the filters when I know I have a real color correction sessions later and all of that.
And for The Rookie, did you get to go to the DI on that, or was that?
So people know that means grade room, right? Is that what you mean?
So I'm just being very cool. So the grading session, the coloring session.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
I say color correction. So, you know, just because we constantly in prep and shooting, what happens in general is that they send us a file via just internet, right? And then we just like on our own time, hopefully it's when we prep, but sometimes it's when we shoot on our own time after set or during prep. We just review the file and we give notes by email, and we have one round for this, and then you just cross finger and see if they use it.
And then put it up on telly.
But you're the first of many people after you for notes. So. That's what happens. But you know, to be honest, actually, I would say like a lot of times I respected like the look and the lot, because we had a DIT on set, so the lot we would make already had a great base for colors, you know, and then notes most of the time were taken. So that was nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you like grain? How do you feel about grain in an image?
I do like grain, actually. I think it's great. I think, you know, it's all about the levels of grain you put in there as well. Yeah.
Because Andy's literally maybe the reason why he's asking that, because we're grading 3-Day Millionaire right now, and Andy asked for more grain, and I saw before and after, and I much preferred the after with the grain on. It just looked...
It's nice, right? It makes it alive.
It did look really lovely. Like I say, it's that whole thing with grain. Some people do and some people don't. But I think you really like it because you also don't like your lenses too sharp. So therefore, that bit of grain on adds to the texture.
I like texture. I like photographic things. You're the same. Yeah.
Love texture. And if it's not with your camera, it needs to be on set. Something else, you know, like walls, curtains, atmosphere, I don't know. But yeah.
Bit of foreground stuff.
Yeah. That's interesting. Talking about that before we come to your next question, Andy, is the set. Like you say, you're working with the production designer right now, but that's really important because if you've got a certain look, you then don't want your set designers or production designer to come in with a totally different curtains or picture on the wall or, you know, whatever it is. It's suddenly you go, whoa, no, that's not my design. So are you constantly in touch with them about what you want and about working together to make sure you're all on the same page?
Absolutely. And that's something we also did on The Rookie. We were in a complete, like, constant communication with the production designer. And we would exchange, she would show us, you know, what she was aiming for. And I would show her the visual references I had to make sure we could find a collaboration there, you know, so.
Could you give some advice that obviously you've given loads here, but on someone who was, wanting to be a cinematographer, DP, or they're just starting on their journey? Is there anything you've learned along the way that you think, I wish someone had told me that?
I think the mistakes I did at the beginning when I came here is that I let people tell me what to do and I stopped trusting my eyes. So I had an idea, but I was too shy to communicate it because some people told me what to do instead. And my advice would be, if you have a vision and you see something, just trust your eyes. It's probably a good idea, and then just try to place it and collaborate instead of just letting people telling you what to do all the time. It's very important to trust your eyes and trust that you probably have a good gut feeling, because if you want to be a cinematographer, then you're going to be more, the visual teller, that's really what you're going to be. So, yeah.
I love that. That's wonderful.
That was beautiful. What a great bit of advice. The visual teller. That's really cool. Listen, Johanna, thank you so much for your time. This has been really fun, really enjoyable chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been really fun. Very nice to meet you both.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can follow your dreams, and you can be a cinematographer, you can be a director, you can make your own shows, you can do it. Believe in yourself, or get to the top. And when you get there, if you're lucky enough to get to the top, then do send the elevator back down for everyone else. We will see you next Tuesday. As always, you're all superstars. You're amazing for listening. We love you so much. If you want to support even further, then go to our Patreon page. If you want to support even further than that, go to iTunes and give us a 5-star review, because we haven't had one for a week, so why not? We'd love that. Johanna Coelho, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure. Andy Roger, thank you for joining us from your hovel in Bristol.
Love you.
Love you. Take care. Go make your films. Go be a filmmaker. Make it happen. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Filmmakers Podcast today. If you'd like to support our ongoing efforts to bring the filmmaking world to life, have a look at our Patreon page.